Welcome back, everybody. It's time again for the Daily Nipah, Rika Furude Simulator 25. You can join yourself here in the top left, socksmadepeoplesexy.itch.io. Get your copy of Rika Furude Simulator 25 and get your Daily Nipah on today. We're at 2,400 Tragic Fates. Remember, everything is free there. Give it a try. It's the end of 2024. If you're looking for a last-second gift, what better gift than Rika Furude Simulator 25, or Planet Attrition, or ASTF 2, or so many other fun games that are up there. But we're also finishing the SMPS Game of the Year podcast. Also at socksmakepeoplesexy.net, which is a bit on the bottom. Can't really see it because we got our numbers down there, but still. But let's check out Rika first. Rika? Oh, she's going shopping on the last day. She wants to get some snacks for the new year. Yes, you. Alright. Where is that podcast link? Oh, we can get a rolling here. Nipah. Alright, and the day is officially started.
The other major theme that really
Wait, what?
hit for me, I'll try to wrap this up, is that the in-universe explanation for this, like, ignore the meta stuff. Say this was all real, that this company existed in the late 80s.
Oh yeah,
released
Alex.
50 games.
Still talking about
and
Alex.
Everybody forgot
UFO
about
50.
them. That's fucking tragic.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of like games from that era just being erased from history.
There are a lot of
True.
games from that era that likely aren't preserved.
You're
For
right,
real.
Polly. That's
It
actually
definitely
pretty
happened, and that sucks.
sad thing
Yeah.
to think about, but it's
So,
true.
like, the in-universe of, like, this is about games preservation, I'll just say it.
Sure.
Like, the idea that they found this thing and spent, like, 6 years, the actual dev time, restoring it to get it to run on PC and Steam. Extremely admirable.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
so
'cause
cool.
they said, hey, these games should be seen and played.
That's
the
so
world should know about
fucking
them.
cool,
Yep,
man.
Because otherwise,
Oh.
this company just,
Never
everyone
existed.
forgot.
Yep, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah,
really
so
cute.
Hell
it's a
yeah.
game- to me, it's
Hell
a game
yeah,
about
Paul.
credits and preservation.
Yep.
It's not number one because maybe I don't love all 50 games and I haven't
Yeah.
gotten
Oh,
around
sure.
to like 30
That's
of them at
completely
least.
fair.
Bug hunt.
I
Bug
like-
hunt.
I like Bug Hunter.
Fucking
I'm,
Bug Hunt.
hey, I'm gonna stand Bug Hunter on this podcast. I'm the one who fucking likes Bug Hunter.
Oh.
Well, I
Bug
got-
Hunter is
I
not
fucking-
Sockscast approved.
Here's what I did. Here's what I fucking did. I was on the third round, the one you need to get the clear, and then I was looking at everything in the shop, and I realized, wait a minute, there's an item that specifically damages characters that are raised up in the that are like on the either in the ground or up raised up in the air. I think.
It is. It's the
And I've got
elevated
an item
module.
that can specifically like invert a specific tile, and I've got an item that
There's also enemies.
inverts the raising and lowering of every tile on the board.
Mhm. It's a
I
good
moved
combo.
my character to up one tile, inverted one of the monsters, inverted every single tile in the game, and then made all like 15 or 16
a
bugs
good
that were still
combo.
alive and about to kill me explode at once.
That's
That's crazy.
And then I won. It felt so good.
Beautiful.
Good combo.
I definitely do like a lot of the games. Warp Tank and Porgy were kind of my early jams.
Yeah, those
like
are
I
good.
definitely
Oh,
I
Warp
played, like,
Tank
a lot
is
of the-
really fun. That's one I want to get back to.
Yeah, I
played
really
a
like
bit
Warp
of it, and
Tank.
I know that, like, yeah, I want to play that a lot.
It's a good
yeah, I
one.
played a lot of the 5 to 6 hour games. I still have not finished Grimstone.
Yeah.
It's so harder than I thought it was
It's
going to be.
mammoth.
I did like the Tower of Four Fiends last night, and I'm just like,
Ooh,
this really isn't
very
the end.
close,
There seem
though.
to be at least 2 more dungeons left. I'm like, okay, guys.
Yeah, you're not too far away from the end,
Insane.
though.
Yeah, I think that game is.
That's a cool tower.
It's fine. It's very grindy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
That
I was
is.
lean
curious
into
what
that.
it-
It's
what
grindy.
It's a bit
I was
grindy.
curious
How
about an
it-
RPG
yeah.
from the.
I mean,
from
that's
the game
classic
collection
RPG
where the
style,
games
so they
don't have
nailed it.
Stories. How that lands.
The tracest amount of story. It's just
Yeah.
more cool vibes. It's
All right.
It's a very old
Western
school
hell.
RPG.
Hey, that ain't nothing.
Oh,
I think the story that made me smile the most was Magic Garden and then Camouflage.
Magic
Yeah.
Garden.
Camouflage.
Camouflage.
Camouflage is super. Waldorf's ending is very funny. Waldorf's ending is good.
Get 50 shells for the true ending.
Oh, okay, that except for that part. Except for fuck that.
Except fuck
UFO
that.
50. We're gonna be pecking at that for a while.
That's the thing. I was like, I originally was like not even sure this was going to be on my list at all because I wasn't like going to finish it until next year, and then I hit the like what would consider the end game, and I was like, okay, gotta be here.
Cool. Fucking cool.
'Cause
Nice.
remember when I asked what games have skeletons? That was me doing the meta game.
Fuck.
Uh,
Red, I can't believe you took UFO 50, the collection of 50 tiny games, and then managed to turn it into a red game. Fuck. You managed to turn it into like, oh yeah, then you cry at the end game.
oh shit. The straight.
Of course.
Props.
Insane.
Okay, Polly.
Yo,
24, 24.
we have one more listener list, our final listener list.
Let's
this
go.
one comes in from our good pal Jessica, who,
Jessica.
despite the fact that she's been going through a lot lately, and much love to
Yeah,
her for that.
absolutely.
She was still able to get us just a small list of games that she played
Good.
and enjoyed this year, and that I realized I never got around to writing one with everything that's been going on. I hadn't played very much recently, but let's go with Final Fantasy IV,
Great game.
Power Rangers, Rita's Rewind,
Sure.
and Metal Gear Solid 2.
Ooh, can't agree with you there, but
Hopefully
I'm
next
glad you
year
enjoyed
I'll be in a
it.
better spot to send another audio list. Hell
Yeah.
Jessica, your audio lists always were a delight. So hopefully,
Yeah.
much. We're hey, we're pulling for you. Hopefully
Get
you're in a much
better and come back stronger.
Love you lots.
Love you lots. Yes.
All right, John, we've done it.
Want my number 2?
We need your number 2. Let's
right.
go.
Well, this one's. I told you this is the year of the anthology game, right?
Absolutely.
This one's a little different because it's
Ollie, you sound so fucking tired there. Oh, I can feel just the exhaustion setting in for you three, but it's great. I appreciate it.
It's basically like one big story, but split up into 8 different chapters. You could say it's a story of magic and romance and betrayal. It's a story about a man being really violently cut. I think there's only one game it could be, Polly. I think you know what it is.
Yeah.
What do you
Now
think?
go ahead. I'm not taking your thunder.
All right, okay. Well, my number 2 is obviously Live Alive.
Yeah.
Live Alive. I've heard a lot about this.
Kind of. I that was either gonna be number 2 or 1. That one.
I actually wondered how it was pronounced.
Yeah.
Live Alive makes sense.
Well, yeah, there's obviously nothing else it could be.
Oh, that's another
Nothing
straight.
else at all.
Stupid, because it's not even 8 chapters. This game's as good as it gets, huh?
That's what I hear. Like this
That's
is
my take.
This is like one I really.
Their number
need to
2
get
is
on.
as
It's
good as it
just-
gets.
This has been available and translated for so long. It's kind of stupid that I have not touched this.
I posted under your Mal account when I was 16 that I'd started
God.
Live Alive.
That you'd
I didn't-
started this right. Oh my god.
I didn't get far into it, but I was like, this seems really cool. And then I was like, I should get back to that someday. Well, it's fucking 14 years
14
later.
years later.
I got back to it.
You played the original version too, not the remake or
You
remaster.
know I played the
Yeah.
fan translated Super Famicom. It's a
Oh my
great fan
God.
translation.
Yeah, it's a really good fan translation. Actually.
In what universe would I play any other version?
Don't be a
It-
fool.
it's like honestly, it's like Chrono Trigger or the Final Fantasies, where it's completely together and tight in its original incarnation. It runs at a perfectly good clip. It's drop dead gorgeous. This was like the last hurrah of 16 by 16 pixel character sprites Square RPGs, and it is beautiful. This came out
Ooh.
after Final Fantasy VI, but it's a game that it's like
Another straight.
post FF6, but we're still making games that look kind of like FF4 and 5. And it's the most beautiful incarnation of that. The colors, the fucking colors in this game are just off the charts. I was constantly stopping and looking at the pixel art.
Yeah. I love how vivid the palette in this game is.
Exactly, it's so vivid. So the big draw here is that this is basically 7 different micro RPGs. They are of varying lengths. Some are like 20 minutes, some are like 3 hours.
Oh.
And they're fucking stunning. There's a fighting game chapter where you just fight 7 bosses in a row.
I like it.
There's an adventure horror game chapter where there's like 1 fight in the whole chapter. There's a Western chapter, Grimstone reference.
Nice.
Where you have to like lay traps and like move through a town to collect resources on a timer.
I think Live Alive's
fucking cool.
Western
There's a mecha chapter.
is inspired by Grimstone that came out 14 years later, to be honest.
I was kept waiting to be like, okay, that was the banger. I played like my 3 I was most excited about and expected the rest to kind of be like, okay, now we're kind of moving through the filler before we get to the finale. I just loved every chapter. I loved every chapter in this game. They were all bangers. The caveman chapter, there's no dialogue. It's all like fun emoting. They get across an entire story just with like the 16 by 16 pixel sprites emoting.
That's great.
It's incredible. There's wild swings and turns mid chapters with like character deaths, and like they just go real hard with it, and every single chapter ends with them playing. Every song is different, every chapter is different battle themes, but then but then they have the same end of chapter battle bossy with Megalomania.
Yeah.
And so it's just like every single time that song plays and you go into the climactic conversation, it's a kind of RPG high I can't really place in anything else, where it's just like it's a game that hits like final boss level intensity over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The battle theme is cute as can be. It's very mathy.
Yeah, it's so like, mathy. It's one of the
dear,
most
this
mathy
came
video
out
game tunes I've ever heard.
30 years ago.
You
Holy
like
shit.
you like try to solve the fights. You're given a handful of tools and you figure out what the right approach is.
Much older than I thought it was gonna be.
God. And then so like if it was just 7 amazing like micro RPGs, I would have been completely happy. The 8th chapter that unlocks after the other 7 is off the rails incredible. It knocked me on my ass and in a way I completely did not expect.
Ooh.
It's one of those like, wow, I see why this is such a constant touchstone for Iffy, huh?
And then the final chapter after that is just like it's kind of like the story steps back a bit so you can play with all the tool toys they've introduced. Yeah. Like it's the game like kind of fulfilling all of its promises as an RPG, and the finale fucking rules. It fucking rules.
Oh.
Credit where it's due. The remake adds a new final boss phase, and I looked it up, and it's pretty fucking dope.
I think they did really well on that remake. Like,
the remake sounds real classy.
Yeah, it sounds classy as shit. Very much in the same vein as the Saga Frontier.
Yes, that sounds very Saga Frontier in general.
Help add back in the things that he was not able to in that original version. So, like, man, Square has kind of been on a roll with some shit, despite,
I was like the DQ3 one is
being
good.
Square, yeah.
DQ3 sounds incredible.
Again, like when it's a 90s, like I get it when you don't want to play NES Dragon Quest.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes perfect.
Well,
that
yeah.
makes sense to me. I played the
90% grinding.
color versions because I was like, I'm not hardcore enough for this yet. But 1994 Super Nintendo Square,
just
it doesn't
on
need
a level.
You
don't need that
really
digested
was.
for you. You can just jump in and have a blast. And I don't.
SNES RPGs
To me, this
were
original version is
a hell of
perfect.
an era. A hell of an era.
One of the things I came away from it from was just like there's stuff I've seen in friend RPG Maker games or in my own RPG Maker games and thought, oh my goodness, I'm so original. We're such geniuses. I love us so much. And then Live Alive did the same thing tonight in 1994.
Like that episode of South Park. Simpsons did it. Live Alive did it.
Which isn't discouraging because it's like
no, because that just means you're as much of a brain genius as they are.
Yeah, we're part of an ongoing dialogue that's been going on for 3 decades.
People can absolutely come to the same thing.
RPGs are
both
fucking
be
cool
geniuses.
as hell. I love RPGs. I love making them. I love playing them. My friends' games. It's just a blast, and they've always been experimental. They've always been weird, and they've always been interesting. Like I think this game absolutely stands toe to. If you're a genre pervert, I think that this is
genre pervert.
Easily like as good as any of as cool as any of Square's other games on the SNES.
Yeah, for sure.
It's also absolutely. They do a lot of stuff in this game that they kind of revisit in Chrono Trigger. I think they kind of are both going at being like sort of episodic RPGs in different ways. Episodic kind of genre hopping RPGs, but in different ways. Where Chrono Trigger has a little more of a fiction around it. Yeah. But I think they get you to similar places. So fucking love Live Alive. If you've been waiting 14 years to play it,
just dive
go
in.
do it.
Or 30.
Just go do it.
It's another all-timer Square classic.
It's on my Raspberry Pi. It's loaded up. It's ready to go.
Shit.
Fuck yeah.
Better start
Try and get to that very soon, actually. Because again, that one's been on my list.
playing with that pie there, Pale.
It's me, 1,000 Resist. I'm just like, I gotta play that one. I can't wait 14 years to play 1,000 Resist.
No, that would be kind of crappy if you waited 14 years to play 1,000 times Resist.
I need to play that before Hong Kong gets absorbed into China.
Oh
Maybe
no.
a little more prescient. All right,
Yeah,
so
true.
Before we dive into our personal games of the year, I think it is time to maybe take a moment to recognize the games that unfortunately came up just a little short. I can start things off by giving you a quick list. I won't spend too long. We've been here a while.
Sure.
Everybody's tired. But my honorable mentions go Zap and Dash, Super Mario Brothers 1 Celeste.
Nice.
This is a fantastic
fuck
ROM
yeah.
hack.
Zap and
It's
Dash.
based on Super Mario Brothers 1 for some reason. You figured they'd use a more advanced engine, but they used 1 and they fucking cooked and made a great game.
There's an SMW one too. Maybe they wanted to experiment with kind of different approaches.
I think I like this one more.
Cool.
All right, Lily's Night Off. This was just a very funny visual novel by Cupin, who is a friend of mine, about an idol girl, and you end up in just all sorts of very silly situations with her. It is legitimately some of the funniest visual novel writing I've read. Like, just a great command of humor, a fantastic presentation. Narcissu Side Second. This is the second.
Fuck yeah.
Cool. I cried a lot. Fantastic. Thanks for that. Up next, I discovered a new developer this year on itch and enjoyed every single game from them I played. They're named Int Circle. I played Of the Devil Episode 0, Model Employee, and Märchen Line.
How was Model Employee?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
Model Employee is
that one.
fantastic. I did an LP of that one too.
Nice.
Oh, killer.
Well, the only one I haven't gotten to yet in video form is Märchen Line. So,
Cool.
I also was really a big fan of the demo I played for This Magical Girl Is a Bitch. It's so genuinely funny and charming. Steins Gate, My Lover's Embrace, was a fantastic set of love stories set in the Steins Gate universe that legitimately made me feel a lot of things. I just love those characters.
Nice.
And finally, one that I played for about 3 months at work with my Switch, taking it with me. I finished Undernaut's Labyrinth of Yomi, which is a fantastic first-person dungeon crawler that I think would work really well for people if they want to get into this genre, because it's very much in the same vein of Labyrinth of Telho, where you can kind of just respec your shit in the field anytime you want. So you're not making hard decisions that you need to worry about. If you want to invest in these skills and try them out, just do it. It's got a great horror story aesthetic going to it. Just genuinely dark, ugly, and violent. Just great little game that just barely missed my list. But yeah,
Cool as hell.
John.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Rhett, remember Carrion?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
Game
yeah.
rules.
Yeah, Carrie.
It's just like
cool.
this is like a perfect little package. This was my only Alisoft playing a game, but I played
Alisoft.
Toshin Toshi, one of the early 90s games. It's just
Toshi.
cute as hell.
Oh.
I really like Toshin Toshi.
Ocean.
It's the one where you compete in a tournament, and everybody who competes in the tournament has to bring a cute female partner, and then if you win, then you fuck their partner. It's very good.
Oh.
Ballad of Swishy. This is Wuzzy's new game. It's part of the new Vextro Jam.
Right.
Fucking rules. It's so good. It's not out yet, sorry. We're kind of taking our time with this one. It's probably coming out in January.
Yeah.
The whole complexion as a whole.
Yeah.
Wuzzy's game is done.
Yeah.
But yeah. Romancing Saga 1. I played this game on the hardware for the first 20 hours. It is a fucking weirdo. It is a weird fucking. It is like grinding the game, and it's just like a continuous stream of like number go up endorphins while you explore this freeform world.
Oh, yeah.
Where all of the story threads are like half finished.
These straights are coming up hard lately.
It is a next level experience. It's very like I love Romancing Saga 2 to bits.
Romancing
Romancing
Saga
Saga 1 feels like whatever is in Romancing Saga 2 and Saga Frontier in its like rawest, most elemental state. It's very cool.
raw.
Like I definitely played it with fast forward.
Do you want to do it raw?
Batman on NES, fucking classic.
Oh wow! All right. Shout outs to Batman on
I
NES.
played like 70 Domino Club games. I'm still just chewing away at all of them as they come out. It's so fun. 20 Small Mazes is a banger.
Somebody needs to play Hide-a-Light on NES.
I'm gonna give my Coruscant. I'm actually gonna give this to Star-Crossed Bloodline to shit.
What's the
Comments on the
RPG?
name.
I like that one
Yeah.
a lot.
Star-Crossed Bloodlines and the Sword of Judgment.
God, that one's so cute.
Yep. I really liked Berserker Knight and the Dragon Lord's Treasure Hoard, the Chorus 2, the extremely big Chorus 2 action platform at the top. It's so
I
fucking
watched
huge.
Poncho play that whole thing, and it was a delight.
It's so cool. It's very fun. It's so like I think the compactness of Star-Crossed Bloodlines helped it really land for me.
For sure.
But I was very honored to contribute to the Chorus universe this week, and also push the number of Chorus games up to I think
That's like
7.
I need to check out the Chorus games.
Wow.
Got a lot of fucking.
Also,
Chorus
I didn't know
games.
Iffy had
great.
games. I did check out the Iffy games now too.
Those are my honorable mentions.
Y'all, there's so many game devs there.
Oh my god, I can't remember 7 hours ago. I mentioned at the start that I had a list of 12 games.
Yeah.
Number 12, Death's Gambit Afterlife.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
This is a Souls-inspired Metroidvania. The original version, Death's
Souls-inspired
Gambit, was much more leaning towards
Metroidvania.
playing like a 2D Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And then they went and revamped the whole game. They added more areas. They kind of expanded things. They added like more Metroidvania type abilities, like a double jump and stuff to kind of make the progression a little smoother. I had a whole damn arc with this game. Where in the Afterlife expansion, they also added 2 new endings. Like there's kind of the standard ending, and then there's like the A path and the B path.
Okay.
And the game tracks has a counter for like deaths and other various things can affect this number. And I was 1 point away from getting the good ending. So I had to get the B ending, which has its own like unique final dungeon and last boss. And I was just so frustrated with the game. Not frustrated, but just like refusal to let it win.
Yeah.
That I played the whole thing again from scratch.
You went
because
poly mode on that shit.
Yeah.
I went poly mode because when I tried to
I
do
would
New
be
Game
annoyed
Plus,
at
it was
that
clear
too.
that the game had gotten too hard for me
Yeah.
to actually beat it a second time.
I would
'cause
do
New
that
Game
as
Plus was
well.
No fucking joke. So I just started over with the new character. I didn't play a mage the second time. I played a melee character, and I got that goddamn true ending.
Beautiful.
And it's funny because then there's also like some meta narrative stuff about looping the game being a time loop that the characters are stuck in. And I'm just like, oh, okay, this is appropriate, huh? And then I went on the path to find like the super secret hidden boss that involves like some weird fucked up map stuff that I haven't seen since Yume Nikki.
Oh.
It's just like, oh,
I don't know what that is, but it
such
sounds
a
fucked up.
weird passion project. I feel it, but the
Yeah.
part where you play it
Yeah.
just barely kept it off the list.
Which game again?
Death's Gambit Afterlife.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So yeah, of all the like the games I floated cutting from the list, this one felt the least pain. So it ended up at number 12. And my number 11, this one hurt a lot because it was a shoo-in to be on the list all year until it wasn't.
Oh,
What it's gonna be?
My number 11 is Animal Well.
Animal Well.
Oh man, I legit thought this was making the climb.
Absolute. Oh, you thought this was my number 1?
I thought this was gonna make the. This was a game that it just
I
felt
know.
so huge, and it's just like, well, I've not heard it. Like, did it
it's
really
another
land
fucking
this
big
well?
meta puzzle game. It's another fucking post game meta puzzle.
Oh my god, this game goes too hard with how crazy it gets at the end. It's
Oh my
like the
god! It's I want to play it because it's the art is like it reminds me of like early
beautiful.
freeware games, but like way punched up. It's insane.
It's also like 13 megs. Like they're doing some insane compression stuff on it,
Oh,
where it's like it's genuine raw
Floorhouse.
pixel like
Yeah.
compression, like with no bullshit. But it's also very pretty at the same time.
Oh, it's a pretty fucking game. I played like an
Yeah.
hour of it, and I was just like, man, this is stunning.
I was about to say I was also mad
It
that
does
Polly
look
got high on the
gorgeous.
title screen and never played it. But if you
No,
played it,
I
okay.
played it for an hour while high, and then I just never got
Okay.
back
While
to it. But I
high?
am going
Yeah.
to get back to it because
As far as
I
I'm
did
concerned,
like
you-
what I played.
it's very pretty.
It's very
Had a good
cool.
time.
Other than
Well,
the main
didn't
game,
like what
at
you played
least.
though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, the main.
Yeah, I'm just
Again,
playing
this-
the main game. That whole post game shit seems a little rich for my blood.
It got too crazy too quickly, but I tried to do the first 2 endings and then was like, okay, I'm good. Cause,
How
like,
much would your blood
at
sell
some
for, Polly?
point, you can't progress solo because there's a community puzzle that's like a 51 person thing. Where I'm just like, okay, you went nuts with this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think this was always like right next to Tunic on my list, but Tunic I forgot
69
to
a
mention, had
vial.
an issue where
Nice.
it can kind of too forcefully point you towards where a puzzle is.
Oh.
So once you know where the puzzle is, it's a little trivial. Animal Well has the opposite problem where it will not guide you whatsoever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those that just plops you in
Getting,
there
like,
and good
all
luck. Okay.
52 or whatever number eggs, maybe it's 64. Getting all the eggs for the second ending became extremely tedious by the end, where it's just like they could be anywhere in the entire world.
Yeah.
So it's like
Ooh,
you just look up the
interesting.
last 3 in a guide. You go, okay, I've had enough of this. I've spent like
Sure.
80% of my playtime after beating it.
I understand that.
It's got a lot of really cool ideas. It maybe run its course.
I
The more you
understand
play it, like it was definitely a case of diminishing returns.
That's
I guess.
kind of how I felt a little
What
bit with
happened to video
Porgy.
games getting to the credits and then they fucking end.
Yeah.
And you're done.
What happened? Everything's
It's
gotta
done
have.
in here.
Everything's
do
gotta
agree.
be meta now.
Better.
It's
Better
not
with
that this
cheddar.
one is really meta. It's that there's puzzles and then there's harder puzzles and then there's really, really hard puzzles. Like I appreciate them. This game kind of seems to have coined a new term of layers.
Yeah.
Where like layer 1 is just beat the game. Layer 2 is get all 64 eggs. Layer 3 is where you start getting crazy, and then layer 4, I'm not even going to tell you what
Layer
you're actually trying to
4.
collect in that one.
Goodness.
It's I think compared to like
I have a lot of issues with that when it comes to collectible games myself. If I'm like 95% through and there's like 5 items spread throughout 4 huge maps or something, that it starts to get it weighs on you a little bit. I'm not like a huge fan of needing to find everything. Like even in Celeste, which I did find a ton of stuff in, I eventually just stopped and started just playing the game because it can get a very mentally drowning kind of feeling when you're just grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and grinding and you're not really feeling like you're finding anything or getting anywhere extra. It just becomes boring. This is why I like counters in games that like let you know how many items are in an area. That way, at least you know the right kind of area, or they give you like a compass to find the items or something like that. That's why Porgy ended up being pretty okay, because you did get that compass. But something like, I don't know, there's another UFO 50 game that doesn't give you anything that makes it. I think it's Vanger. I mean, Vanger is easy enough to just run around and shoot, but again, it gets tedious at some points when you're forced to 100% a lot of things.
Tunic, or even
Especially
like
for
Fez,
special endings.
This one is the most consistent in it's always about puzzles. Because Fez, starts as a rotation game, and then it becomes something else. Tunic is an action game, and then it becomes something else. This one is always a puzzle game. It just gets really goddamn crazy.
That's another triple double.
Also, it has a problem where some of the new tools that you get are things that you can use on every screen in the game.
Oh,
And once
right. Yeah.
And once you've done that like 2 or 3 times, I'm just like,
yeah, like do
I'm
it 27 more. It's like, no, thank you.
I'm just like, no, fuck off, I'm
Yeah,
done.
I'm out.
But I really like this. I'm a little sad that I realized just now no one mentioned it.
Oh, it got nothing, dude.
Blue, 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 blue.
Got nothing.
Womp womp.
Okay, that's.
All right.
Me
my
got
choice.
honorable mention
Are we done? Are we ready?
for the final.
Yeah,
We're
let's get in there.
All
In
right.
there like swimwear.
We are in the end zone, everybody. We are spiking. We are each going to take a turn spiking the football to indicate our game of 2024. And I guess it falls on my shoulders to get us started. So here we go. I don't think that my number one is going to be much of a shock to anybody at this point.
Probably not.
I zone out completely. I forget every game y'all play for the entire year, and
Yeah.
every single one of them hits me as a surprise.
Is
It's
that
great.
right? Really? I don't know how that could happen, given the
I'm
amount
giving
of...
the God's honest truth. I don't know what you're about to say.
This is honestly shocking to me then, because
I'm gonna recognize it, and then I'll go, oh.
I
but until
feel
then-
like this is something that I've pretty consistently
Yeah.
talked about all year. My game of the year. And I'm gonna, you know what? Like, John's gotten to cheat this whole time. Like, he's saying, here's my collection of 90 games for this entry. So I'm gonna get to do mine. Mine is a collection of 4 games. My game of 2024 is the Flowers visual novel series.
Yep.
Remember how John said Yuri with
That's
capital
right.
Y earlier? I'm angry that I didn't think of that. I was like, do you really have Yuri with a capital Y, John? To be fair, the Yuri in Seabed is pretty Yuri with a capital
It's
Y.
very Yuri.
Flowers is a Yuri visual novel saga. It is what I have come to call the Trails in the Sky of Yuri visual novels, because I feel like this series approaches its world building in a lot of similar ways. It is very similarly structured. It is similarly paced. And it spends a lot of time really digging into its characters in ways that see them all like starting at one point and ending up at another through the natural progression of not only through the things that they experience in the story, but through how they've grown with others. It's again, Yuri with a capital Y. This is a story that I went into because I was literally just recommended it to somebody, and it's just like, here's this Yuri visual novel series that I'm going to recommend you to read. It's 4 games. It's like, are you insane? You know what you're asking me to do right now? And it's just like, knowing that like I already kind of have an aversion to really saccharine, sweet, idealized Yuri. It doesn't land with me. And the thing is that I think that if you look at Flowers in screenshots, if you look at its very wispy presentation, it's very light, it's very airy. And even the story starts rather unassuming, like it's just going to be that like flavor of Yuri that I'm just not a fan of. And then by the back half of the first volume, things start kind of breaking in ways that lead to some real like substantive conflicts, mysteries and motivations began to get introduced
Triple
that
double.
are going to play central roles in the narrative for the remaining volumes. And every volume, like what I think is really awesome about this series is that every volume obviously continues the path of this story. It is a story that takes place over 4 seasons. These games take place back to back to back, like literally picking up sometimes moments where the previous game left off. But every volume continues down the path of like unraveling and directly confronting the things the first game sets up. But it does so with every volume of the series being a different kind of story and employing different voices and storytelling techniques. So every volume of Flowers isn't just this one thing that you get in the first volume. So like the first volume is like the fish out of water story. Is a shy girl learning to be social for the first time, overcoming trauma that she has experienced as a young girl from a stepmother who's treated her terribly. And then the second volume is the actual romance, where 2 characters are set on a crash course with one another. And that is literally one of my favorite romance stories ever. It's really good. The third game is a psychoanalysis of characters who desperately need to be seen for who they really are, but for various reasons they wear masks to protect themselves, or to bear guilt they can't let go of, or to live up to status quos that are projected upon them. And then the final volume puts the mystery that's been at the core of the series since the end of the first volume to bed, and it solidifies all of that in ways in which all of these teenagers begin to sort of mature into adults. And I think that that's something I liked and I enjoyed about Flowers a lot, is it is very much a story about teenagers, and it's a story that writes them very much as teenagers. Like, Suo is a goddamn wreck of social anxiety. Erica and Chidori are fucking edgy, angsty teenagers who need to get over themselves a little bit. And they run the gamut of a lot of archetypes.
I know an edgy, angsty adult teenager that needs to get over themselves a lot.
It comes down to there is no manual for growing up. There is no manual for teenagers to know how to deal with very big feelings. Or very big decisions that are thrust upon them, and maybe they don't make the best decision. Maybe they end up doing something that inadvertently is cruel
very
or hurts
teenager
somebody.
thing to do.
And this isn't a story that like makes that like sets impossible standards for children and teenagers to live up to. It's a story that tries to look at things through the lens of understanding. Like, why did this character do this shitty thing? It's like, well, there's something here that
there's
we do not
reasons
understand
for it.
about her. What if you came to understand her more?
That's good. That's good.
And the series plays on that a lot.
That's really good.
The series is also very deeply in love with literature and cinema. But boy, it wears that shit on its sleeve, and is as believable as it can be with like 14, 15-year-olds. Quoting and philosophizing about fucking Anne of Green Gables or the Maltese Falcon.
The Maltese Falcon.
But what I think could be something annoying when seen as Family Guy-ish, and that clearly, like, all of these are from the author. The author is in love with these pieces of literature and film. Is I think that this, like, the writer deeply understands why those stories work, because this is a story that actually borrows a lot of those storytelling techniques and layers, and it drapes them over its own story, and the references and stuff just never feel like, oh, we're Family Guy in it. So for me, I guess it's just Flowers isn't so much about like the bigger picture and like this large looming mystery. Like, I don't even think that the mystery has like a satisfying conclusion. I think that it's more about the characters than anything, and you spend so much time with these characters and in their heads that even if the mystery part doesn't quite hold water, like there's still a lot there for your brain to gnaw around on. It's a story I still think about. It's a story that I still enjoy discussing with people.
Ooh.
There's an unbelievable amount of
Good story,
layering
then.
to everything that this story is doing.
Uh-huh.
And the ways that I've been able to dissect it on my own and dissect it with other people, and just kind of seeing like the layers to which the writers put things in this story that like tie back and layer in on themes or follow up on other things, or it's been kind of an incredible ride, like continuing to discover flowers despite the fact that I finished it. And then I read the second, third, and fourth volumes again. I read the last 3 volumes twice. So
That's a good
even
one.
if you don't dig in
That's a
to
good
the
one.
series, and it's fantastic use of like foreshadowing, theming, literary and cinematic storytelling tricks. There's like a really warm heart at the center, and lots of great stories about relationships.
I do
and
remember you, I
friendships,
think,
and
playing that.
understanding. These characters.
I didn't know
are
it was
like
going to
my
be your game of
precious
the year, though.
babies. I love how each and every one of them, by the end of this story, like it's not a story that just ends with everybody figuring everything out. Like these characters, this is their first year of high school. You end at their first year of high school, but at the end, you're just like, yeah, I think the kids are going to be all right. They're going to stumble through some shit, but they
As
got
kids
each other,
do.
and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really mature.
This sounds
Sounds-
real nice, Polly.
It's
It
really
does.
nice. It's
Does.
you know, it's got lots of eating scenes. I know you like those.
I do so
I
love
didn't
eating
even hate
scenes.
the eating scenes. I think that like this series has a reverence for food that is actually really incredible. Like, again, I can't sit here and go over everything because
You'd spoil
because
it.
this is, again, it's much like 1,000 Times Resist. There are so many things I love about this story.
Mhm.
You know, there are
It's
so many
dense.
ways that it touched me. There are
Mhm,
many
mhm.
times that like I was left is just completely sobbing by, and this is on tape. Like I let's play this entire damn
Mhm.
series.
Right.
So if you want to like hear somebody bawl like a goddamn idiot at like, you know, the right thing being said or just a touching moment in the series, it's all there. Like it's all in Technicolor, baby. Flowers is an incredible
Technicolor!
little capital Y Yuri visual novel
Technicolor, holy
experience.
shit.
And it's just a story that I'm so glad that I discovered. I'm so glad that I discovered so many people who enjoy talking about it and enjoy analyzing
Yeah,
it.
I'm
in the same way. And
happy
that has
about that.
added
That's
so much
great.
to my enjoyment of
Good.
the series, is being able to share that experience with others and
Also,
talk about it. It's the same with 1,000 Times Resist. Like they're both stories that I think get to the top of my list because of like the sense of community I was able to establish by talking to people about them and seeing what other people thought and how they made them feel and what they pulled from it. And I think my view of both stories only got bigger and more enriched for that experience. And I am done talking.
This sounds fucking magical, Polly.
well
Sounds
done,
really,
Polly.
really good.
Dot
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
It's really nice when the VN hits just right, huh?
Yeah.
It really is. It's just very
Something-
funny that it was
something
recommended me.
unbelievably special.
It's just very funny that it was recommended to me by somebody I no longer date or talk to.
Oh,
Look,
Goodness.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
Brett, talk.
Red
Okay.
talk! Jesus Christ. But yeah, I do remember you playing that. I did not think of it as your game of the year, though. That's really cool. What's up there, Empty Eye? We need our resident Rika Wenbanyama. She got another triple double. Explodes. Oh no. But as you were saying there, Polly, having a story that impacts you like that, one of the stories I can think of is I was really enjoyed Mass Effect until the third one. But I played the first two of those games like 4 or 5 times each. I really, really enjoyed playing them a bunch of different ways until it kind of crashed and burned. But having a game that just leaves you with that good feel at the end of it, especially after it tells such a well-woven story like that, is some of the best parts of gaming art. and kind of just human touch all coming together in one artistic medium. And I think that's what games will always have over other sources of entertainment, is that you interact with it more, so you can kind of feel a little bit more, well, maybe a little closer to the characters in the story. You get to, make choices and decisions, and see how that plays out and stuff. But I think it's important to mark on those really high emotional moments you find in games, because it does mean a lot. And just gaming in general is one of the coolest mediums to like share experience with. Really, it takes music, it takes movies, it takes specific interaction from the player, all kind of like balls it up and spits it into some kind of unique package. Like, gaming has come a long way throughout the years, but we really see what amazing human minds and some fun creative peeps can really do for us here. I appreciate that.
I forgot we weren't gonna do like the recap before our number ones.
Yeah, I want to
think that was
talk
an
as
accident.
little as possible from this point
Okay.
forward.
No, we're gonna do the recap. We'll do it after. our
We'll do
number
it
ones.
right at the end.
Yeah. But basically, there's been a trend, and I didn't do it on purpose with my list, that there's been no sequels thus far.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of like fresh new things. Even like Gal Guardians is not doing the same thing Galgun does. Like, it's a new perspective. Grand Blue Fantasy is not the action. It's an action RPG as opposed to like the phone game. There's a lot of new things, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For my number one, it's time to break break that
tradition.
trend.
All right.
Number one is Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Why not, baby? Let's go! I knew it had to appear at some point, because I knew you liked that shit way more than, like, I wasn't
This is
sure.
how Elden Ring got.
My game of the year is not a game; it's a DLC.
It's a DLC!
It's a
Stunning.
DLC.
So
Oh
it's
no!
February 2022.
Oh,
I played two
no.
games that month: Cold Steel 2 and Elden Ring. And I think, God, this is a really tough call for Game of the Year already.
Good lord, yeah.
And then later in that year, I played Cold Steel 4 and was like, okay, I think the Cold Steel quadrilogy is going to take it. It took the weight of 4 Cold Steel games to push Elden Ring down from the number one spot.
Nuts,
So
dude.
now
That's
it has
great.
gotten its dues by being this year's Game of the Year, where Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erd Tree, or as I like to call it, Elden Ring 2.
Elden Ring
And it's
2.
and it's really funny that like 2 days before we recorded this, they just went and fucking announced Elden Ring 3.
Isn't that like? Isn't Elden?
Oh,
isn't that
wow.
just like a
Yeah,
battle
but it's
map
funny
or
to call it
something?
that. It's a 3-player standalone game. It's also got like the 3 theming.
Yeah.
Let me have this one.
The threaming.
It's your game
It's
of the
just
year.
funny.
I'm not gonna take
I was
this
already
as
calling this Elden Ring 2, and then they announced a 3 thing that caught
Fabulous.
everyone
Elden
off
Thring.
guard.
Thring.
What was that?
Elden Ring.
Elden Thring.
Oh my
Thring.
god. Okay.
You're
okay.
welcome. Dude, it's 9 o'clock. Okay.
I
What do you
know, I know,
want?
I know.
Straits are
I
really
just-
coming back
so,
here.
The funny thing is, I also wasn't sure if I was going to buy this to begin with, because Elden Ring is a game I spent over 100 hours in. It's a very, very long Souls game. I am very thorough with those games. I explored the map as far as I could to 100% it. I thought I was done. So in the run-up to this, I was like starting to break, like, oh, maybe I am going to get this. These trailers are really fucking cool looking. I started a new character in Elden Ring. I got a scythe, and then I got a second scythe, and I'm running around dual-wielding scythes, which is extremely goofy. And then it's been like a few days, and I've got like 20 hours on this character, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm just playing this game again, huh? I think I'm good for the DLC. So, kind of, the DLC takes place like basically right at the end of the main game. So you just go in with your character from that beat the game previously, because it's the one. Luckily, they don't shunt you into New Game Plus. So, and I finally got to use this. You know how Souls has like the boss Souls things where like you get a weapon from killing the bosses?
Sure.
There's one from the final boss. And so like, well, I'm never going to use this because I just beat the game, you
beat the
dummies.
game, yeah.
So finally I got to take that soul and make it into a sword that shoots like a gigantic golden laser. And I used that for most of the DLC.
Incredible.
I had a moment while playing this game, and I'm trying to wrap it up already because we're going a little late. I had a moment playing this where I was like, I just felt something wash over me, and that was that this was the most fun I've ever had playing a video game.
Oh, wow.
How do you not give that
Really
game
like
beer?
that one.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I realized
okay.
that even immediately in the moment that was being a little hyperbolic, but it just
Don't know
stuck
if I
with
can
me.
remember
That's
the
what you
feeling like
feel.
that.
And again,
Yeah.
that feeling sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's the real shit.
And it's funny because it was just in a totally random moment where I'm just riding the horse around exploring, and I think the world map in this one is actually what pushes it over for me, where it's like basically they took the insane expanse of Elden Ring and crushed it down a little bit to be a much denser world map. And then they pancaked it where there's like 3 or 4 layers of verticality on top of each other. It does like the Dark Souls thing of being like an extremely vertical map as well in an open world game.
Yeah.
It's just, the design is crazy. It's so cool. And like, it's just still the master of, see that place over there, you can get there.
God. Like, that is a feeling I never get over. Like, I think that people,
Yeah.
like, that's become, like, a line of, like,
I
just
know, it's a
to make-
mockery.
Yeah, to make fun of shit. But, like, to me, like, I am still that person that loves that shit.
Yeah, I still love that. And this one continuously, eventually I started to realize that I was like underestimating it at every step of the turn, every step of the way, where I would go, oh, that's a really cool looking area over there. It's not playable land. It's just a cool, pretty.
An hour later.
It's just a cool, pretty background. And then I look over and I see a path leading down, and I go, oh, okay. And then I see those mountains over there. That's a really cool mountain range. Oh, you get to go there. Weird. What the hell? Like, I kept underestimating
What
it.
are video games? How is this possible?
Like, the fact that this is a air quote DLC that's like significantly bigger than most of the regular Souls games. Like, it's definitely bigger than Dark Souls 1. Like, in terms of like how many bosses are.
Oh,
world
that's
map.
good.
Like, the world map's obviously just way bigger.
A
'cause
DLC
it's spread out.
worthwhile?
You got the horse and all. But then there's
Weird.
like also like 10 major bosses and like a shitload of just side dungeons and mini bosses. The one flaw is the main bosses, they go so insane. I'm sure 90% of the discourse around this was that it gets too hard. But I still had a good time just summoning and enjoying the spectacle of, you know, lightning beam shooting gods of destruction that are just like really, really ridiculous if you're trying to solo things. But the last boss is also a little
I get that
overtuned.
feeling. A lot of old games, you see all these cool areas.
Eventually I figured out, like, okay, if you
You
just
never get there.
put every stat
Actually being able to
possible
get
into
there is
blocking
cool.
with the shield, you'll be able to just barely block like his 8-hit combo, and then be able to counter once and then rinse repeat.
Oh, that doesn't sound
But it's just
fun.
like, okay, I'm gonna get the heaviest shield in the game, the
Oh,
heaviest
yeah, for
armor in the
sure,
game.
yeah.
I'm gonna use all these stats to pump my vitality to like 1 billion. I can just barely hold up the shield and tank this combo. Like, they so carefully balanced it to be just barely possible. Yeah, I love Elden Ring. I can't get enough of it. And the worst part is that after beating the DLC, I went back to the main game, installed like a fan community mod that's like a combat rebalance, played another 20 hours, and was just like, okay, dude, you are
I need to take my meds.
wringing the stone dry. There's
You are
nothing
becoming
left
that
there.
guy who just plays Dark Souls all the time.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like, this doesn't really change things enough. You're in the boring. You've played the first area like 5 times now. Move on to something else, please. But it was just like,
Oh, and you love something that
there's
much,
nothing
you
more
know?
in that moment I wanted to do more than play more Elden Ring, because I like the DLC that much.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That's his
Yeah.
That's as big of a flag that anybody can
The
fly
X
for DLC
Gemini.
as Game of the Year. I think, like,
Yeah.
when you literally say
Upsetting.
the most fun I've ever had with a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know how you like.
Yeah,
argue
that's
that.
that's gotta be your
'Cause
first.
I really like exploring 3D worlds.
Yeah.
And this
That's
one
fair.
having like, there's one part where there's like, you know, the typical like hidden wall. You whack the wall
Yeah,
and
you
there's a
whack the
door.
Speaking of liking to go through open worlds, the first Mass Effect, I know they were pretty bare bones with some of the planets, but I found that aspect of the game really, really cool. And looked forward to them expanding on that, but instead, they just killed the Mako because apparently nobody liked it like I did. So, there's that.
You go down.
The fantasy one.
There's like a single breakable wall led to like a 3-evening journey
Oh,
down a
Jesus
ravine
Incredible.
where it's like it opens up into this big lake, and then there's a canyon down there, then there's a catacomb, and then you take an elevator down and you're in hell.
Oh my god.
And then there's a mansion at the end of that, and then at the end of that is one of the major bosses, is all behind a single hidden wall.
Wow.
I'm like, you have to be fucking kidding me with this game. And I had to play offline, so there wasn't like a million messages in front of it saying hit here, hit here. I
You
noticed
just found that shit.
I noticed the faintest outline there, and I go, oh, that's probably a hidden wall, and it was. But I did not expect there to be like 10 hours of content behind it.
Christ.
From
fucking
software are
insane.
legitimately insane.
Insane. And then it's insane how big this is, and then they immediately announced another Elden Ring project this year.
You got
Or
any
2 years
interest in
ago.
the new Armored Core?
I mean, maybe.
It looks really good.
It does. Like, that's something I want to play.
Armored Core, huh?
Play the Armor Core.
Yeah.
Armor Core? Hardcore
Cool, that's
Armor
awesome.
Core?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like,
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah, I like I said, I've heard a lot of people do a lot of hand wringing about, oh, you can't have a DLC in Game of the Year. Like, dude, like, and it's just like, I'm so glad.
that truly never crossed my mind. I was like, this is obviously.
God, that is literally all I saw for like the last 2 weeks on my fucking timeline is people whining about like the Game Awards having Shadow of the Erd Tree as a Game of the Year contender. And it's just like, look, if my best friend tells me best time I ever had playing a video game, sorry, Shadow of the Erd Tree is Game of the Year worthy.
It is a weird case because to get to it, you have to play like.
Sounds
80
more
hours
than
of
your
Elden Ring.
typical DLC, though.
Like,
You
it
are
is such
playing
super
Elden
late
Ring
game.
DLC.
I know.
You
It's also
like
true
Elden
with
Sounds
every
like
Rails game after the first
DLC done right. If anything else, you know.
It's funny because Elden Ring is a game of like extreme excess where a lot of people were like had too much of it by the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
And then there's this for weirdos like me who still wanted more.
Always,
I wonder, like,
always.
since I've been away from Souls for like 5 years, if maybe Elden Ring might actually hit.
I mean, compared to there is.
I just
Bloodborne.
never liked the Souls
It's
games.
this or Bloodborne.
This or
and I'm-
Bloodborne, right? Like, it
God,
has to
Bloodborne.
be.
I tried.
And I kind of feel like Bloodborne is more.
Just
like,
wasn't
the
for
poly
me.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm not willing to slam it down like the big open world game that is way too big is the poly one.
Nah, it's probably-
No, that's probably not true.
You're probably right on that. Yeah, you're real for recognizing that.
But I'm like, it's definitely not Dark Souls 3. That one's
That's good,
forgettable.
'cause Dark Souls 3 just kind of bored me to tears.
Okay, I think it's time.
That's Game
for
of the Year
one
for
more.
Rhett. John, close us out.
All
You
right,
started us with a
John.
banger, like 27 hours ago when we started
27
recording.
hours ago.
Here we are, we're all old, disheveled, and we just want to fucking go home. What you got, John?
This year put me last, so I get to be the. Oh God, stop talking.
I normally do, I just
Yeah.
wanted to mix things up this way. It wasn't a slight. I
No, I
normally
get
do
you.
poly last.
It's not a problem. So this is the year of anthology games. This is the year of UFO 50, 80s Namco arcade games, Anthology of a Killer, Live Alive. What if I told you that there is one collection of games that
Oh,
I played
no.
before any of those?
Oh
that I played
boy.
starting in December of last year, and in my heart, I was like,
What-
"These,
how would
this
this
collective
still
is
get
my
number
game of the
one,
year,"
though?
and I held on to that for the whole year.
Did you go back and play
In
it?
part because I believe it in my heart that this is my number one, and in part because it's very funny.
Alright.
My number one is Kaizo Super Mario World ROM hacks.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
knew it. I
God.
knew it. I knew it.
Good night, everybody.
Oh,
I almost spoiled this earlier when Kaizo came up. I'm like, oh shit, is that it?
Kaizo Mario
This is
hacks?
where my brain has been on the top of John's list the whole time. This is
Kaizo
where I
ROM
had you
hacks?
pegged in
Yeah,
not the
you're
literal
correct,
sense.
John.
Well, that's a lot of games.
Like, look, there's Soxcast lore that people don't know about.
Wait, what'd you say there, Rats?
I said you pegged John.
That was Polly's joke. Okay, good.
Well, I picked Yofo 50,
I'm
which
gonna
is
go
50
first.
games MTI.
So this has been my journey. Some years ago, when we're coming
52
from a
games.
breakup, I played Kaizo Mario World, the original, for like 2 straight weeks. I
there
practiced
it is.
I got really good at it. I got to the
Nice.
point where I could play through every individual checkpoint successfully without any further save points. So you get to a checkpoint and then play through it. The problem is Kaizo Mario World has lives.
Yeah.
So you can save after every single level except for Switch Palaces.
Yeah.
So the goal, and you can play as on 2-player mode and then get to play as both Mario and Luigi. And if any one of them gets, so you have 10 lives to make it through a given level or 2 levels if you have to do Switch Palace.
So you
first.
can go back and forth and
I
get
couldn't
double
I could beat
lives.
every checkpoint. I couldn't beat it in 10 lives each. It's just too fucking hard. So earlier in fall last year, I booted up Memory Lane. It's a ROM hack that's styled to be like classic Kaizo hacks, like
Mario.
Kaizo Mario World, but it has a bunch of modern conveniences.
Mario.
You instantly restart at a checkpoint, and you have infinite lives. And I just saw it on YouTube one day. I was like, oh, that looks pretty. I've been watching Kaizo Mario World hacks for years on GDQ.
Yeah.
I didn't know that
Because
John was
been
into
just
Kaizo Mario's,
And like in a live setting.
which is completely fine. I can see the enjoyment. I'm not much of a Kaizo Mario fan, but delving that deep into Kaizo Mario and then being like, well, Caramel's too hard, makes my brain a little like, huh? I mean, I get it, but like, it's such a weird difficulty arc. The different difficulty arc, but I would consider Kaizo Mario so much more frustrating and difficult than anything in UFO 50.
To play
But I find this very
nuts.
interesting to listen to.
I think the first one I watched that blew open my whole brain was Invictus.
Yep.
Where it's this chocolate hack that's full of like a custom assembly to do like cool level gimmicks.
Lots
It's
of
got
cool shit.
amazing aesthetics and tunes. It's incredible. So I played Memory Lane. I played for 5 hours and couldn't beat the first level. And I was like, fucker. Why can't I do this?
5 hours,
I
give
wanna
me
be
the
Mario
first one.
World.
Yeah,
I wanna be
yeah.
Mario World. I want to be like
Part of your world.
you. So then I kind of pulled back and was like, okay. And I Googled Kaizo beginner
Bob?
hacks, and it turns out there's a whole world of those. There's a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
world
Oh,
of YouTubers who say,
yeah.
here's a step-by-step path.
They
of
made a whole game
escalating
about it. It's called
difficulty
Mario
hacks
Maker.
for you to get into Kaizo hacks.
That's so like not what I would have expected either.
No, they love onboarding people.
That's
That's
so
like,
cool.
That is.
And there's tons of beginner hacks. There are tons of gorgeous beginner hacks. The first one I played was of Jumps and Platforms, which isn't a Kaizo hack. It's just like a difficult platforming hack. It's just like 7 amazing levels. It's just 7 levels that are more fun than anything in Vanilla Super Mario World by a mile. And I was just like, oh shit. The first Kaizo hack I cleared was Love Yourself, which is still maybe my favorite. Like if you have to peg one as like
Nice.
a game for my number one, I
there we
really
go.
liked Love Yourself. It's the same
Love
one that
Yourself
Cecile
is the
listed.
game of the year.
It's
I
very
like it.
comfy. It's very much a beginner hack.
Love
And then
yourself,
also,
motherfuckers,
it does
or
a
I
really
will.
cool thing with the storytelling in the finale that I fucking loved. And again, it's just cooler than anything you get in a vanilla Mario game.
Yeah.
Sure.
Most of these aren't like don't have like that kind of storytelling gumption, but they pretty much all like have a very fine-tuned sense of aesthetics, and the mature Kaizo hacks of today, of like the last like 3 or 4 years, they feel so tight. They feel so good because there's infinite restarts. They deliberately slide away from frame perfect tricks. They like to give you like at least like a 3 or 4 frame window, so it's still really tight.
Yeah.
But you can reasonably learn.
Yeah, that's
and
I like that
execute consistently.
more than
What I started doing was like
constant frame
timing how
perfects.
long it took me to beat levels. And I had like this whole spreadsheet that was like escalating Kaizo hack difficulty. I started with Love Yourself. I got to Quickie World, which had one level that
Quickie
took me 2
World.
hours. I was like,
Who wants to
that's
join
about
me
as
in
hard as it
Quickie
ever got.
World?
That's about as hard as it ever got. Was this one level in Quickie World, this climactic level, and I beat it, and I felt like a fucking god. I played 2 Kaizo 2 Learn, which is like 70 micro levels that are all tuned around teaching you specific Kaizo concepts.
Oh, that's a good. Like that is such a good thing because there are so
Isn't
many
that so cool?
tricks and things that you see.
That is good. I like that a
in
lot,
Kaizo
honestly.
hacks that are like it's all a similar language. You see these things repeated over and over.
Exactly, but then they tune them in different ways. There's the way they have different aesthetics, like the way that they remix these same verbs over and over. It's astounding. It's so pretty.
Was not
The only
expecting
thing I can
anything
think
like
of
that
is
for a
felt
Game of the
similar
Year
to, like,
entry,
Doom
but
Wad scenes, and I haven't really penetrated those to the same extent.
Yeah.
John seems to like the
I guess when I
arcade
finally- so
in small
all those hacks
games,
are labeled Kaizo Beginner
high
on SMW
scores,
Central, and then I went
stuff
back
like
to
that.
Memory Lane.
That
my
makes
first
sense.
Kaizo Intermediate hack.
Oh
and
baby.
And after 7.5 hours, I successfully cleared it 7 levels. It felt so fucking good.
Nice.
Give you that feeling than just having worked up to it.
The very last one I cleared
Gotta
was
edge
Gambol
yourself for a
earlier in the
while, you
year.
know?
I haven't gotten back to them yet. My end goal, 2 end goals. I want to clear the original Kaizo Mario World legit.
Yeah.
I can definitely do it. It's a Kaizo expert hack though, which is really scary. And I want to clear Invictus because that is the upper end of Kaizo Intermediate.
That's so insane though.
But again, I like Memory Lane was impossible. So I spent hours on the first level and didn't beat it, and then I went back to it after doing all this onboarding, and then I cleared it without much trouble. I look at Invictus now, YouTube footage, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that. I know those. I know
Super
those
Smash
tricks
Brothers.
now. I know this language.
Oh, that's a
So I want to
double
build.
triple.
I hope to have another big Kaizo Mario binge.
Nice.
I
That
really
does
want to
sound
clear
fun.
Invictus because that's like the big.
Good luck
epic
to you,
one. That's
John.
There's insane hacks like the Grand Poo World 3 and whatnot that I don't really care enough about. I don't need that. There's ones that have big epic post-game meta puzzles.
Oh my god.
That's great. Grand Poo World 2 and 3.
Yeah,
they
order
do.
That through final boss. You
They
have to, like,
do.
piece together all of these puzzles and bits of text that are like on the level geometry across the game.
Yep.
So the ones I'm playing are like linear romps where you just do the hard levels in a row. It's
Like a
so
good
fun.
romp.
Yeah. I want to a one that's
Good romp,
too
a
hard
good
for me,
romp.
probably forever, but I want to single out anyway. Is Supersonic Saves the World. This is a Maddie Thorson hack, and it's huge. It's insanely huge. I think she made it with some friends during the pandemic and just like completely went nuts on it. It finally got an abridged version was shown in GDQ
Allegedly.
recently, but like it's outrageously funny. I recommend just because none of us are going to be good enough to beat it. I just recommend
Damn.
watching. I completely zonked on his name.
Mitch.
Damn it! I completely zonked on
Pooh.
his name. Fuck! It's the guy that. Oh, Grand Pooh Bear. Duh.
Yeah.
He did a whole stream series where he played all of Supersonic Saves the World, and it's very well done.
Like, which of the two are you talking about here?
He's a Kaizo guy. Absolutely, he's a Kaizo
I
guy.
love that his last appearance at a major event, he's like, "Hi, I'm Dan Salvato. I'm mostly known for Super Mario World hacks." Oh, he's got a good sense of humor. I love it.
Yeah.
Aren't you Dan Salvato, the creator of Doki Doki Panic? That's another intro to Mario. These are all Mario things. So there's also a whole Let's Play, it looks like, that Maddie made of it. This was originally not released. It was shown it was shared around privately.
Yeah.
It's
That
and
hidden Kaizo shit. That
Oh my God.
underground.
So this is also the secret half of my number one pick, which is that after this entire
She
Kaizo
stories
binge,
in her
I
dance
loaded up a
song.
fresh file in Celeste.
Yes,
This is my
I
number
love
one.
Celeste.
I would have given
Celeste
this
is
to
so
SMW anyway,
good.
but I feel that
I should have put
I
Celeste
just
in my
went
honorable mentions.
so deep on Celeste. I played Celeste for 30 hours. I'd only played the main game before. I beat the whole main game. I got all the strobs. That's nothing. Then the game starts.
Then you have, the real Celeste starts here.
The true Celeste starts here. I played the B-sides as I went, and then I cleared all the
Then
C-sides.
the C-sides. I think
C7
Toad's
is...
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Toad recently was talking about doing this too.
yeah, it's really
Super
good.
good.
I
Should have
cleared
been
for
on
a
my
while.
honorable mentions.
There you go.
Amazing
They
game.
fucking ruled. Farewell's
Amazing
Farewell's
game.
easier than
these C-sides,
C7.
Yeah.
Most of the C-sides aren't hard. The hardest one is C7. That one took me 2 hours, which is, again, 2 hours is the upper limit of
Of a Kaizo level.
of any time I've taken on any Kaizo level. It's like there were like 3 levels across all these games and hacks. That
Maybe
took
I
me
should be getting
2
back
hours,
into
and,
Celeste, huh?
C7 was one of them.
C7 is where I tapped out.
It's really
That
satisfying to get it down.
That last string though is a lot.
It's really good, Red. So I've gone my whole life not really
Like dance.
liking
Yeah.
Massacre games. Like straight. I like
Best of
arcade
for it, yeah,
platformers with
true.
lines where you string together a 20-minute game in one go.
Yeah.
These are insanely hard individual checkpoints that you grind for hours and hours and hours. Not hours, that you grind.
We're almost
until you
done here,
clear them.
Rika. Had a pretty good day,
And
Rika.
I didn't like that. It just didn't. I think what I've learned from Kaizo hacks that let me appreciate Celeste was just that you can build a dramatic arc in play through the grind of like beating these individually hard checkpoints instead of trying to string
You
together
did.
a complete run. And that's I feel like I unlocked a whole
Last
genre
one,
for me. Just by
Rika.
playing these Kaizo hacks. I fucking love Celeste. It's really good.
Yeah, Celeste is
Celeste is just fucking
amazing.
great.
Yep. I love that Maddie made Jumper 20 years ago, and then Mike dropped the genre later on, and is really plugged into Kaizo hacks.
That's
awesome.
Just such a solid 3-line.
So that's I love platformers.
There's only 4 minutes left.
Love good platformers.
We all do.
So that's my number one.
Nice.
We also all love the fact that we have reached the end of this very long journey and we can all stop talking just a couple of more minutes. There's a little
Only took
more.
7.5 hours.
There's just a little we need from everybody else. We need to do one final recap and then we'll get the hell out of here. So from 10 to 1, my final list is number 10, UFO 50. Number 9, Hypnospace Outlaw. Number 8, Patrick's Parabox. Number 7, Persona 3 Reload and Yukari's Gorgeous Body. Number 6 is Kubinashi Recollection. Number 5, Seabed. Number 4, Gal Guardians Demon Purge. Number 3, Mary Skelter Finale. Number 2, 1000 Times Resist. And my game of the year is the Flowers visual novel quadrilogy. Rhett!
Number 12, Death's Gambit Afterlife. Number 11, Animal Lab. Number 10, Hi-Fi Rush. Number 9, Gal Guardians Demon Purge. Number 8, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Number 7, Uta Wa Remumo. I thought I had it and then I didn't.
Almost.
Prelude to the Fallen.
You were so close.
You'll be a real fan once you can say it.
Number 6, Tunic. Number 5, The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails. Number 4, Aquarium. Number 3, Outer Wilds. Number 2, UFO 50. Number 1, Elden Ring Shadow of the Archery.
John!
Incredible. Number 10, Sylvia RPG 7 Elf Apocalypse. Number 9, Tales of Fantasia. Number 8, UFO 50. Number 7, Galuda. Number 6, 80s Namco arcade games. Number 5, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky. Number 4, Anthology of the Killer. Number 3, Seabed. Number 2, Live Alive. Number 1, Super Mario World ROM hacks plus Celeste.
But most games.
The most video games. I of course want to close things out by thanking everybody who took time to send us their list. They're always the most important. I always look forward to what the community has. I obviously am always super excited to find out what these two goobers are going to pick. But it's always the weird stuff in the community that you start finding that bubbles to the top. That's always going to be something that I kind of like. Oh man, I think I want to go dig in to that. But thank you everybody for the vibes. Thank you for filling out your lists. Thank you for giving us some of your time. And if you're listening right now, then man, you're insane. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank
we
you.
all do.
I am fucking
We all
insane.
still
Oh,
hopefully-
I got one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The number one with 6 picks between us and listener lists was UFO 50.
Of course.
Let's go.
Number 2 was Balatro with 4, and then tied for the third slot was with 3 votes was Anthology of the Killer, Seabed, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Ease 10.
Wow.
Nice.
Also, we got 7
Nice.
elf mentions that I noticed. I
7
think I
elf
rated them.
mentions. Nice. We
Yeah.
all want a fucking elf unprotected.
You're a fucking an elf
All right, John, where can
unprotected.
the internet take you, folks?
Oh my god.
Farawaytimes.itch.io or farawaytimes.com. I have a website again.
Nice. Look at you. You even got a comm, so you're just real professional.
Yeah. I think I've had that for 10 years. I finally put it to use again.
Where's the internet finding you?
If you want to be 100% honest, x.com/Rhett for hololive porn.
There you go. Got all the HoloLive porn you could ever want on Twitch because Rhett's going to be posting it all. You can find me at Polly Plushy pretty much everywhere. I'm mostly on Blue Sky these days.
Word.
And you can also find me at socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io.
Never heard of that one.
That rounds us out. We will catch you folks again next year. Thank you again for contributing, and thank you for listening. And remember, we are the podcast that loves you. We are the only ones that love you.
Thank you, Polly. That was a fun podcast to listen to. And then suddenly we got some Contra action at the end there. But that was really fun. That comes to an end to our podcast / Daily Nipahs. We'll return to our normal Daily Nipahs in the future here. Our normal 200 Fates going into the new year. But that ends this year of Daily Nipahs. Thank you all so much for watching, commenting, liking, all the above. Please make sure you go and find yourself a copy of Rika Frude Simulator today. socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io. And you can listen to the podcast too, or many other podcasts on the main website. socksmakepeoplesexy.net has tons of stuff for you. For years and years and years of content and lovely stuff like that. So, either way, we're 2,800 Fates in, and we're going strong. We are still in third place contention on the leaderboard, and we'll see what happens throughout there, but it's been a great year. This also marks my 365th consecutive calendar day stream this year, and 525th consecutive stream in general. So, of at least 5+ hours or not. Of course, we're going to be here later. We're going to do Barbuda speedruns today. But once again, thank you all so much for joining me this year. I appreciate it. There's going to be Daily Nipahs from here on out. So keep staying tuned for that. I'm just going to be streaming every day. That's not stopping. Same place as always. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in with the Daily Nipah. Please like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that very, very much. Positive vibes, y'all, and have a good night.